I'm live. I'm going to go post a link onto our website. And so if you are reviewing this video after it has happened live, you want to go to Jolly Roger Ukulele, jollyrogerukulele.com, and that's where all of the resources that we will use in today's class are located, along with the greatest ukulele website ever created, more or less. And you will become a fine instrumental player if you go do what it says to do there. So let me update that. And then I hit update. And by the way, first person into the room who tells me the sound is good is my best friend for the day. And so if you're listening to this and the sound is good, you say, the sound is good. And if the sound is terrible, I need to know right away. All right, let's see. Been pretty lucky with this overall so far, so we'll see how we're doing today. Let me make sure this opens up in the correct location, which it does. And then we hear everybody come. Good afternoon. You're drunk, but you sound good. Okay, so Lanny's my best friend of the day. Lanny's my best friend of all time. All right, I better go download my version of Drunken Sailor. We're all going to be drunk by the end of the lesson today, so that's the good news. I stopped drinking 20, I don't know, almost 30 years ago, and it's very fun to think about it, but it turned out it's not as much fun to be that way, especially when you're like me and you were like that continuously. Let's see, download into ukulele, go back to the cloud. Find Drunken Sailor. Dun, 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 dun. BC Drunken Sailor PDF. Click on that. Hit download. Click OK. Wait 15, about 3 seconds. Click OK. Get out of the little app. Go to storage. It's all these buttons, right? I feel like I have one of those Palm Pilots again. Ukulele. Over to drunk. Drunken Sailor. There's that. Click on that. This is gonna be fun. All right, and then I gotta go here. I'm gonna close all these guys. These guys mess me up. And oops, Malaguena. Really? Oh yeah, I've been working on that with the guitar people. That's a hard song. I don't like it. I like things that are hard. You guys? No, I prefer music to go easily. All right, let's see. And then I got to go find All Through the Night and we'll be ready to rock. All Through the Night. There it is. Yeah, okay, good. We're all set. Look at it. Oh my gosh, everybody's loaded in here without me paying attention. Do you have any more arrangements for ukulele and guitar duet? Sound is good. Every arrangement could be done for duet. I don't necessarily always write out a duet part. Occasionally, for an instructional reason, I will write out a duet part. And so I don't know how to put that any more specifically. What I recommend if you are going to be playing duets is somebody takes the chords and somebody takes the melody. And I hope that in and of itself is just enough to get your creative juices flowing and have you experiment with the other tools that you've learned over here. But in terms of writing out specific duets, I usually don't do that unless like I'm going to teach it in class, or I'm going to specifically work with two people who want to create a more fancy duet, or occasionally somebody who just can't get the creativity together, then they need a little help putting that together. Then I'll do that. But for the most part, Laurel, the answer is no, I don't have a ton of duets just pre-written out. Sandy, hi Sandy, how are you? Manette in again today. Renee is here. Renee gets I think a perfect attendance award for the last month or two. Killing it. Hey, Landon from New Jersey. Evelyn, sunny and 65 in beautiful downtown Cuenca today. We are sunny and 85 today, so I think you got us beat a little bit, Evelyn, but we're pretty good here. Sandy, happy about strumming tonight. Cannot strum for the life of me. Played accordion for years. Everything's right. Once you play one instrument and it's very percussive in its nature, that oompa oompa oompa. So we'll work on that tonight. I make a lot of fun about strumming, but there are many tools that we can use to make ourselves better players, and so we'll cover some of that stuff tonight. Hey Burke, how are you? Good to see you. Lindy says, missed a couple of days. Good to be back. Looking forward to tonight. Also, no, Lindy, if you missed 2 days of last week, you can't come to tonight. So you're out. Must have perfect attendance to attend the Monday night class. Hey, Clay, welcome in. Aloha to Linda. Both of you guys are hanging out together. Phyllis in from Ontario. Kat in from Texarkana. How's the weather down there, Kat? It's always hot down there. Barbara and Jack hearing you. A-OK from Illinois. Oh, nice. Barbara and Jack together today. Nice. I love that. Glad you guys are here. Thanks for being here. Christine in from Bozeman. You just got back. We'll try to make Oh, Vicky, what the heck is she doing? Living her life. Doesn't she know that Monday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. is not open for any other activities? Marie, welcome in. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Glad you're here. Red in from sunny Wheat Ridge. Yeah, we do have a really nice day going here in Denver. We had a little bit of rain yesterday. It's kind of cleaned the air a little bit, and so it's kind of nice. No perfect tennis. Oh, your husband's having shoulder surgery. Ugh. Can you imagine? Yike. It'll go great, Renee. Fran. Hey, Fran. It was quite a surprise to find we were going to Strum. I will tell you, and Fran, this is just between us, right? Don't tell anybody else this, but I offer one Strum class every year, every summer. Guess which class is the most attended? It's the Strum class, and here's why. Most people who pick up a ukulele, they come to me and they're very kind and they're like, okay, I will learn what a jig, I will learn how to pluck, and I'll do this. That's not really what they want to do. They want to go yabba 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 yabba. That's what they really want to do, and it just does not go well, right? It's just not really that kind of if you're a professional singer, it's lovely. Otherwise, it just sounds like you going yabba yabba yabba, and it makes people sad. So they're in their head, they're positive it must be something to do with the strum pattern that is their problem. So I always get this huge amount of interest in this stupid strum class that I do. It's not stupid. It's just not my thing, right? And so we teach all of the strum patterns, and they go away, and they're like, well, that seemed frustratingly easy. Well, how can that possibly be? Well, it turns out that it is frustratingly easy. It's your singing that you need to go to class for. So strum patterns are in and of themselves fairly important, and certainly if you're going to be hanging out with other ukulele players, strum patterns are very important because you're going to be doing some of that. But the problem is not your strum patterns, it's your singing. That's what you should be taking singing classes. So that's a secret. Don't let anybody know, because they all show up for the strum pattern class and we have a great time. So let's see. Texas, around 90 degrees today. Almost was sweater weather, right? I know it's kind of chilly down in Texas. By the way, Taylor Swift got her cardigan album out last night and sent Robin Roberts of Good Morning America a cardigan sweater this morning. So it turns out Robin thinks it's just a wonderful album. Hey, Joyce. Oh, you're back in Denver. Good to see you here, Joyce. Love to have you each week. Diane, new computer, so much faster. Yay, right? We're all running into technology challenges this time in our world, right? So we're all buying. I need to buy another computer. Let's see. Chris is here. Gary and Diane are ready to play. Cindy is here. Yabba yabba yabba. Oh boy, Alan. What's the difference between a guinea pig and a lab rat? Oh, I don't want to answer that question, Alan. I don't think that's going to go well. Down in South America, Evelyn says they eat guinea pig as a delicacy, so that's sad. Linda's here. Jennifer is here. Jennifer's actually going to be teaching this stuff here coming up in near Chicago. So we gotta make sure that we tell her the true stuff today. All right, guinea pigs are cute, honestly. Hey, Patty. Yeah, I've been going around looking for guinea pig photos to do my little weekly teaser photo, and it turns out that the public domain guinea pig photos are kind of lame, but the private ones, the ones that you're not really allowed to use, man, guinea pigs are cute as all get out. All right. Beautiful here, but I'm sure, yeah, I know, Pauline, whatever, Bay Area, beautiful, perfect everything in San Francisco. Yeah. You do sometimes want to fight people from San Francisco, don't you? You're just like, you know what? We don't really want to hear how good you got it. Really? Seriously. Golden Gate Bridge, beautiful. Uh, Great people. Coit Tower. Shut up. All right. And Linda, back for another try. Come on, Linda. Every day you're doing great. All right, guys. A couple things. I'm getting mask knee. Right, from wearing my mask. Right? My lip fell apart. I got these weird things showing up. So please know I haven't had acne since I was in high school, and I don't remember how to deal with it. But I'm washing my face more, so I'm hoping that helps. In the meantime, there you go. That's what you need to know. Also, you need to know they got my bathroom all torn apart over here, and they got the plumbers coming and going and coming and going. So at some point during this broadcast, I guarantee you, one of the plumbers is going to come in and ask me a question that I don't know the answer to, and I will look like this. Well, what do you think? And he will tell me what he thinks. And so we may get interrupted by a plumbing issue here today. And in light of that, because they've been in and out all morning, I have not done what I promised I would do, which was to get Ash Grove up to proper speed for myself. So we are going to move Ash Grove to tomorrow's lesson. So we'll have Home on the Range, Ash Grove, and Buffalo Gals tomorrow, which I think sounds positively like a wonderful day of music. So if you've got Ash Grove in front of you, just postpone it for tomorrow. Don't do that. Practice it tonight, and then we'll play it tomorrow. At halftime here, we'll talk about what we got going on tonight. It's just going to be super fun, super fast-moving, and probably reasonably helpful class plan for tonight. So we'll get all that stuff going. And also, other thing you need to know, I did go outside on Saturday. We went up in the mountains. We were going to summit one of the Mount Parnassus here, which is a 13er, and we failed miserably because it started raining and all this stuff. But I was outside, so I feel like I have done my exercise for the year. And we're going to get this thing done. All right. Pauline Price said something funny and then retracted it. All right, Linda, back for, let's see, Bob, San Jose agrees about. Yeah. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to get on turf war there. San Jose is awesome. San Francisco is awesome. Beautiful here, but I'm sure. Let's see. And Vicky, glad to be here. Yeah, Vicky, finally making it back in. Vicky decided she'd go try playing bagpipes instead of ukulele, but she's back because you know how it goes. Let's grab All Through the Night. What we're going to be doing with All Through the... Oh, also, because it was such a crazy morning, I didn't put on the right shirt, so I'm wearing a T-shirt. It's green. I'm wearing green today. Let's go through All Through the Night. Let's talk about the different pieces and parts. At this point in your life, whether you're a brand new player who just wandered in and found this thing, or whether you've been around a while, this is the kind of song that I think you can bring to life and really turn it into something, even though it's not on your list of songs that you wanted to play when you were buying your ukulele. You thought, yeah, I want to play Bob Dylan or whatever, and you were wrong. What you want to play is old songs with great melodies and interesting chord structures that make this thing come alive, and that's what this song does. This was the very first song I memorized on ukulele. I don't know why. I had no previous knowledge of this song, but I thought it sounded nice, and pretty soon I had it memorized, and I had a song that I could lord against other people, right? Because I knew how the chords, I knew how the melody went, I knew how to pluck out a melody on the whole thing. The whole thing was very instrumental and very lovely, and it turns out it's an old-fashioned lullaby. Verse 3 is a little dicey because it does start to feel like it might be a eulogy for a child. And I used to teach this in every single class that I ever gave. And then I had a mom come and say, yeah, we played this at my daughter's funeral. And I'm like, that's it. I'm out. We're not doing that song ever again. But you guys get it, right? So it's a nice melody. Think of it as a lullaby, and let's hope that that's exactly what it is. And we will, especially since you guys are instrumentalists, you can have a really nice tune here. Let's run through the chords. Okay, if you're newer, make sure G chord is like this. Okay, make sure your index fingers here. Do not do this for me. Okay, and teachers, make sure you don't let your students do this. This will lead to a real problem down the road. So index on the third string, middle finger on the first string, and ring finger on the second string. Okay, there's G chord. Sleep, my child, and then to get from here to A, remember we talk about not how to make a chord. That doesn't matter. It's how we get, well, it matters a little bit. how do you get to the next chord from wherever you are? In this case, we're hanging out on G. Your index finger is going to lead the way. Slides back, middle finger up there. Now you're on A, okay? Pizza. Now we got to get from A to D. Again, let your index finger lead the way. Index finger, middle finger down, ring finger down. If your ukulele is too small, this is going to be a very challenging chord for you to get in the beginning. So we like most adults, normal size, normal. There's no normal anymore, right? This size hand, right? You probably should be playing a tenor. Okay, probably. If your fingers are shorter than mine, and it's again, it's hard to tell based on being on YouTube, but if your fingers are shorter, you might do better with a concert size. Very few people do fine with the soprano size. Kids, sometimes I've sold some to I always call them grandmas, kind of these little ladies who come in real small, like my grandma. They're fine with soprano, but for the most part, you should probably be playing at least a concert and probably a tenor. So there's your D chord. Okay, attend thee to get from D to C, not too hard. Ring finger down. And then you got to go back to D, right? So don't camp out here. You got to be just when you go from D, C, keep your fingers up there, and then you're back to D, and then from D, you're going to go to G. Okay, cool part about this song, measure 1 through 4 is exactly identical to measures 5 through 8, so you only have to you only have to learn that one section, and then you will learn then you will have learned 8 measures through measure 8. And the good news is measures 13 through 16 are also the same. So you only got to learn those first 4 measures, and then you've learned 3/4 of the song. Okay, so then the only other thing that's different in the song is measures 9, 10, 11, and 12. So let's go to measure 9. You got a C chord. You're going to play that for a lot of beats. 4 beats in 9, 4 beats in 10, and 3 beats in 11. And then we're going to have our work cut out for us because you got to get from C to G for 1 beat and then back to C. I blow it all the time, right? So if I'm blowing it, a good chance you're going to blow it. So don't fall asleep on this C chord. Get that G chord on, and then you're going to go right back to C for 2 beats, and then you got to go to the G, D, G. Okay, so you got a lot of work there. Now notice at the end of measure 12, underneath that D chord, there is a fermata. So we're going to hold this. Sleeping in. So we will hold that. So you're in less of a panic to get to the next G. Hold that D. Let the moment ring out, and then we're going to go back through this. Okay. Let's see. All right. From the top. Okay. I'm going to sing. You know that's never good, but you have choices with your right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4 with your thumb. You can also do an index. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want to get fancy and turn it into not a lullaby. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay. If you are working on your plucking, which you should be, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're working on arpeggios, this gets pretty tough because the chord changes happen a lot on this song. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle, index. That's going to be tough on this song because you've got several places where there's a 1-beat chord. And so you're like, bum, bum, change the chord, bum, bum, change the chord, right? And so it's a little, so when you're thinking, yep, I'm an arpeggio person, I'm going to kill it on this song. This is a little bit tougher song than some of the others in terms of pulling it off. Okay, get ready to go. I guess I'm a little old gray-haired lady. You sold me an Ohana soprano. Yes, Linda, you are a little. I officially put you in the grandma department. So yeah, I did sell Linda a soprano because she has little hands, right? Not because she's a grandma, because of her hand. Yeah, I have had plenty of grandmas walk in with regular size hands, Linda. All right, let's go. Here we go. Oh gosh, I'm getting in trouble with Linda. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sleep, my child, and peace attend thee all through the night. 2, 3, 4. Guardian angels, God will tend thee all through the night. 2, 3, 4. Soft the drowsy hours are creeping hill, and veil in slumber sleeping. Go. In my loving vigil keeping all through the night. 2, 3, 4, and then let's just finish up here. Okay, with a nice G chord. Whenever you see an old song like this where you're just going to do the same thing 3 times or whatever, you definitely are going to want to put on, a few beats at the end and then a nice, beautiful wrap-up chord. And just know, if you started with G and you ended with G, you're in the key of G, so the chord you want to finish on is G. Okay, and so give yourself a sort of an invisible measure there at 17 that says, hey, at measure 17, we got to finish the song up. Because you need that last measure to be a little different than, so that your audience knows, yep, I'm officially done playing the song and we're ready to go. So that's your chord structure. And I would say what I found just now was I'm fine, clear up to that middle section where the notes go so much higher above my voice that I am not capable of singing it there, right? And that's why when you're getting ready to do strumming and singing, a lot of times we blow it because all of a sudden we can't sing what's in front of us because of whatever key it's in, and yet we just got to keep that rhythm going. So I'm busy strumming out my C, and the whole time I'm thinking, yeah, ain't no way you're hitting that high E. What are you doing, right? And you shouldn't be singing it, right? And so just be mindful, as a chord player, you're also the percussionist. You just keep that thing going, even if your singing is going terribly, and then you let the song come back to you, hopefully, where you can sing it a little bit better. Some songs are going to cooperate with your voice and some are not. It's just part of what we do. Okay. Then I guess I'm a little, let's see. Oh, Bruce finally made. Oh, Bruce is up in Spokane, Washington. Nice. My nephew, I think, is going to move there, and Jenna's in from Waco. Nice. Okay, we got people all over the world. That's exciting. All right, so those are our chords. Let's play the melody. Okay, this song is in 100% first position up until it's not, right? And then when you see it measure 9, we're going to go up to 7. So that's going to be your high note there. So probably playing in 4th position will make some sense. Or a lot of times, if we're in the key of C and I see some 5s and 7s, I may just go ahead and play in 5th position and let my ring finger grab that 7. Okay, so that's positional playing. Remember, you're always thinking about what's the least amount of motion I can do when I'm playing melody to make the least amount of work so that I got the highest percentage chance of getting it right. Okay, so let's play in first position. 3 means your ring, 2 means your middle finger, and there are no 1s, so we don't even need to worry about that. Okay, from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 0, 3, 0, 3, 2, 2, 0, 2, 2, 3. Rest, rest, rest. 3, 2, 0, 3, 0, 3, 2, 2, 0, 2, 2, 3. Do, do, do. 3, 2, 3, 5, 7, 5, 3, 2, 3, 2, 0, 3, 2, 0, 3, 2. Hold it for a second and then go. 3, 2, 0, 3, 0, 3, 2, 2, 0, 2, 2, 3. Okay. I know some of you are working on learning the standard notation also. Let me give you my advice on that. When you are doing your standard notation and getting where you memorize where your chords are, where your notes are on your fretboard, instead of singing the words, sing the name of the note, right? So it's G, F, E, G, A, G, F, G, E, F, F, G. And in this case, you have to remember, you have to know, hey, all my Fs are sharp. So I'm not really playing an F, I'm playing an F sharp. But I think those of you guys that are working on note reading are comfortable with that idea that when I say F, and I mean F sharp, we're like, yeah, it is F sharp. Okay, so just be aware of that. I don't think this song has any accidentals in it, so there isn't any sort of special mention that you need to make of the accidental itself. You're playing an F. It just happens to be the F sharp in this case. I do think if you are interested in learning to read standard notation, which I have told you over and over, you do not need to feel like that. Don't feel pressured to be like, oh, I have to learn a standard notation. But some of you want to, and it's not an unworthy goal. It's okay to have that as a goal. I would say instead of singing the notes, singing the words, sing the names of the notes, and that will just help solidify where things are showing up on your ukulele. Okay. All right. Whew. I'm talking awful fast, aren't I? Okay. Let me take a breath. Now, tough uke, right? We normally go thumb down until we hit the note, and it would work in this case. Okay, so if I'm on there, I would go dum, 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 dum. Okay, so that would absolutely work. But I arranged this differently, and I arranged it a lot. One of the very first things I did, because I wanted practice plucking. Okay, so the tough uke here is there is a place where we for sure are going to do thumb down, and that's measures 9 through 12. We're for sure going to do a thumb down there. The rest of the song, I want this. I want you to be using your claw so that we get a chance to mix up two different right-hand styles. Tonight we're going to talk about strumming style, right, which is with the down and up. Okay, but what we're going to talk about in this class, because you guys are the legit crew, right? You show up in the middle of the day for this stuff. We're going to talk about how to do this. Okay, so I'm going to grab my chord like I always do. But first thing I've got is 2 and 3. The reason I don't want to use my thumb is because I'm not going to play the 4th string. It's blank, right? So if I do that, I'm playing a note I don't really want to play. I'm going to take these 2 fingers, thumb and index, pluck 2 and 3. Slide your ring finger back over here to get the 2. Now everybody's crammed in there weird, but it's okay. And then hit 2, 2. Then lift up to get the 0, 0. Put your chord back on. Okay. Then you're going to slide your 1 back, lift these other 2 up. Now we've got to hit 3 notes, so I'm going to use thumb, index, and middle. Add my 3, again, index and thumb. And then go slide up to get these 2 2s. And then just the thumb on the 2. Then 2 zeros, 2 2s, hit 2 2s again, and slide up to get the 3. Okay. Once you have that mastered, you have 3/4 of the song complete. Okay, so let's just do measures 1 through 4 again. Again, mostly you're plucking just with these 2 guys. Okay, one time you're going to have to use your middle finger down here to get that 1st string. Okay, so from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pluck, 2, oh, pluck, 1, 1, oh, pluck, 3, 2, thumb, O's, 2s, 2s, G chord. Okay. What I've noticed now all of a sudden, since I'm not really playing this 1st string, I'm simplifying it for myself. Normally I'm grabbing the G chord, but look, I can get the whole thing just with those 2 fingers. And then my back to that 2 is easier. So just by accident, trying to magically do the least amount of work possible, I have sort of abandoned my G chord and really just gone with this. Is that breaking the rules? A little, right? But it's also making it much easier. And anytime we make things easier by minimizing the amount of motion, your success rate goes up. And in music, we want to do the least amount possible to get the effect that we're after. And if we're doing a bunch of extra work just because our teacher told us to, well, that may or may not necessarily make a lot of sense. When you're brand new, I want you to do what the teacher tells you to do. After you get this, then you start thinking, oh, I could do this and it would be less work. That's what I would want a more advanced musician to think. So a lot of times, if you're in my studio and you're a new student, I might have a completely different conversation with you this year than I have with you next year. One year, it's how come you're not following the rules? Later on, it's why are you following that rule when it's not really serving you? And so be aware, as much as I talk about, here's the rules, here's the way to do it, here's blah, 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 blah. I also want you to be getting to that point where you're like, well, Gary says to do it this way, but I'm going to do it this other way, and I'm going to see what happens. And I think overall, the more you play, the more that you just get more and more comfortable with that because it becomes your music. You're no longer trying to get a song out of the ukulele. You know you can get a song out of the ukulele. You want to start getting your version of that song out of the ukulele, and that's when you know you have arrived, right? Let's see. Kat says, "Do you ever not use your thumb since nothing on the G string, and it's just I am a? It feels awkward to." But Kat's question is really important. All right, so I'm saying, hey, use these two, thumb and index. Bum 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 bum. What is it? Bum bum. Oh, there's zeros. I'm using these guys. And Kat's question is, well, could you use these two guys? Leave your thumb available for whatever? Yeah, heck yeah. Could you use these two guys? Probably not. Probably wouldn't. Your ring finger pretty much hangs out on this first string on ukulele. Occasionally on guitar, we'll pull it up to the second string, but for the most part, you probably wouldn't. So when you're talking P-I-M-A, these are your guitar Spanish names for these four fingers, P-I-M-A. We might really honestly think about playing this one with correct fingering. I am. And then you got I-M-A. I am. I. And I would think that's a super smart thing to try. Okay. The reason I don't usually recommend it is, as much as possible, I want these two guys to be involved in the music I make because this guy is very reliable. He's kind of slow, but he makes beautiful tones. I know I'm in complete control of him. He and I get along great. This guy as well, right? I know exactly how to run him. I've been busy pointing at people not driving correctly my whole life, right? So he's pretty good at his job. And so as much as possible, I tend to do this. The other thing which goes back more toward stringed instrument play is we'd like to have our thumb on the root note, which is usually your lowest note on your instrument. Okay, and or the lowest note in the chord. And so usually on ukulele it puts it here. Because of the way we tune ukulele with a high string here, it kind of confuses what was a very simple idea on guitar turns into a very complicated idea on ukulele. It's why when you watch guitar players play this thing, a lot of them just sort of melt and crumble under the pressure because they got to have their thumb on this low string. Well, this isn't a low string on ukulele, so they rush out and buy a low G ukulele to solve that problem. When you're talking about your thumb, I like to use it, and I like it to be on the lowest string on the instrument. So that's why I teach this song this way. But Kat's idea is exactly right. Hey, what about this idea? Works. Do it. Give it a try. See if you're better at it, and not necessarily better, but find out what the effect of doing it one way and then the effect of the other way. You may be more accurate doing one, but have not quite as great a tone or something like that. And so then you can decide which is the best way for you. It's kind of difficult not to use the thumb, but I tried the IM here. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to use these guys, right? And yeah, because they're not used to doing what you're asking them to do. Think about what you're asking them to do. How often in life have you ever done this? It doesn't happen, right? We just don't use those like that. And so you're teaching your fingers these new things. And in classical guitar, I don't teach classical guitar specifically. I teach fingerstyle, which is kind of like, I don't know, it's a different way of thinking about the guitar. But in classical guitar, lesson 1, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle. Lesson 9,712, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle. I mean, they spend so much time training these fingers because it's hard, right? And it doesn't necessarily work. All right, so we've got measures 1 through 4, which are the same as 5 through 8. So I got to finish the song up or we'll never get through. Okay, let's do a measure 9. Now we're going to go to the thumb down. Okay, so now we're just going to play straight, beautiful strums all the way through. We have one little weird widget thing here at the end of 11 where you got to put a G chord on and just play 3 strings. Otherwise, we're going to play just full strums all the way through, halfway through 12, and then we will go back to the G chord and then the D chord to finish up. Okay, so go with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3. 5, 7, 5, 3, 2, 3, strum 2, strum G chord, strum D chord. Okay, and then the last section of this is the same as the first section. Okay, so that's what we'll do there. So we want to pluck. And again, you guys are thinking smart thoughts. This is what's exciting, right? Is you're thinking, well, what about IM? What about a PI, right? Whatever works for you, at least at the moment. And then you go home, and when you're already home. When you turn off Gary, you can go through and try it the other ways and see which way makes the most sense to you. Okay, I'd like to play the whole song, top to bottom. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Measure 2. Measure 3. 2, 3, 4. Change to strum. Back to your plucks. Out. That's a beautiful little melody, right? Really, really nice melody. Not an overly complex chord, bunch of chords you got to deal with, but they're the right chords. They sound really nice. They really work the whole thing together. I can't remember. I didn't write on what year this is from, but it's old, right? And well, it's Sir Harold Bolton, so we have a name for it. So I need to write the year on it. And I think that's another one of those pieces, songs that's like, hey, this song makes a lot of sense just in and of itself. It's nice and pretty, old-fashioned a little bit, but make sure ukulele sound really nice if you bring in the proper right-hand tools with it. Okay, if you're just learning the chords and strumming it, it's fine. But if you actually take the time to really think through your fingering and how you want to present the tune, you got something really nice there. So I know a lot of you guys are newer, and this may feel like, yep, it's a lot. If that's too much, play the melody until you get where your hands are working well. And of course, if you're coming from the other tradition with a lot of chords and strumming, that's a great place to start on this. Okay, make sure you're clear with those notes or those chords. What am I talking about? Let's move on. Let's go to Drunken Sailor. And let's see, a couple of thoughts just to like to keep you guys updated as to what's going on with the website each week. One, I agree. Guinea pigs are awesome. Two, I've kind of sort of tentatively scheduled out the next 4 or 5 weeks on here. And it looks like on August 24th is when we will switch to having the intro classes, the little bit easier stuff. We'll switch that to the noon hour, so we're going to move that up 1 hour. And then this time slot will continue to be the little bit more advanced class. And so the newer stuff, the public domain, non-public domain stuff, the stuff that we'll work on that's quite a bit harder, we'll keep that in this time slot. And so hopefully you'll find a time slot that works for you. I would not necessarily recommend coming to both, but I do want to make it where we can spend a little bit more time on the easier stuff and a little bit more time on the harder stuff. And so the way to do that is to sort of separate those into levels, and you can kind of pick whichever level you feel like you're doing the best at. So that will be starting August 24th. So we're still a few weeks out. Until then, I got plenty of stuff to keep us busy. I want to run through all the stuff I'm contemplating for book 2 and make sure it actually plays for you guys, and it sounds good and all of that. So we're working on that for the next couple of weeks. Toward the middle of August, I think August 17th through 23, we'll run out of level 2 songs, and so we'll think up another theme for that week, and we'll have some fun doing something different. The other thing is tonight is Strum Class, and And I was mentioning to those people who logged in earlier, Strum Class it's a super popular class because people are pretty sure that if they can just figure out what the secret to strumming is, that all of a sudden they will end up, being on Good Morning America with Taylor Swift. And what I think happens with that class is that when I demystify what strumming is, you're like, oh, well, that's not at all what I thought the problem was. And the problem really is that you don't have solid rhythm, and we tend to let we chase the melody around when we're strumming, and that's never going to work for you. So what we'll be focused in on tonight, we got a few songs to play, of course, but we're also just talking about how do we get this steady strum pattern in. And when we're thinking about strum patterns, there's no single right way. There's the way that works best for you and that song at the time, and I'll give you lots and lots of tools to do that. I posted my smarmy little strum eight commandments for strumming up on the Global Institute page, so you might want to go download that and read it. It's supposed to be funny, but there are actually tools and things that you need to know, and some things that I think will help you out as a ukulele player. So while I like to make fun of it, there are some things you need to know about strumming. All right, Drunken Sailor. Here's what's cool about Drunken Sailor. 2 chords, right? And the first chord is a minor chord. So we're going to play it in D minor. 1784. 1784. Thank you, Renee. That's old. That's an old song. All right. I actually donate to Wikipedia because I think it's the most important website out there. Okay, here we go. We're going to strum. Okay, whatever way you want to do it. Okay, when you're strumming and you're in 4, you've got a choice of 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Whatever you want to do. So let's do it with 4. Let's just do it 4 downs. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning, hooray, and up she rises, hooray, and up she rises, hooray, and up she rises, early in the morning. Okay, so I changed that last measure because I wanted it to be different than the others, so that then we can go back and do this whole thing again. I would say that's probably how that song should be played, because it's a work song, right? And we're supposed to be working while we're doing it. We want to get a good, really steady, heavy rhythm. Now let's try it down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And you can do that with your thumb, but it's hard. Do it with this index finger. Down, up, 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 down, up. And it doesn't matter what's going to happen in the melody. Just keep this going. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning, hooray, and up she rises, hooray, and up she rises, hooray, and up she rises, early in the morning. And then we would start over again. So those are 2 different strum patterns for the same song, but you notice it's either 4 or it's 8. I'm not doing 6 on some and 3 on another and 12 on one and all this. I'm not adjusting that at all because I'm the strumming person. I'm the chord person. I want to keep that melody. I want to keep the rhythm exactly what I want it to be. And then who's ever singing the song is in great shape. They know, hey, I just got to listen for the beat. It's very dependable. I'm going to know when to come in. If I'm a singer, I'm going to know when to make the note last into the next measure or pick up early and bring it into the next measure. Singers know how to mess around with that stuff, and they ruin your life because they're always adding a little extra mustard onto all of their notes and making them beautiful. And meanwhile, if you are keeping a steady beat, they'll be fine, you'll be fine, everybody will be happy. Let's do the next system. This one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning. Okay, works, right? That works too. Okay, then let's do thumb, index, middle, ring. I'm sorry, thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle, index, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And what shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Lie in the morning. Hooray! And up she rises. Hooray! And up she rises. Hooray! And up she rises early in the morning. Okay, another strum pattern, right, is to arpeggio pick your way through that, and it works perfectly. All of those ways sound great, right? All of those. So which way is the correct way? Well, it depends. You know, it depends on you. It depends on your audience. It depends on who else you're playing with. Depends on what your goal is. If you want it to make it sound beautiful and smart, right? Arpeggio pattern. If you want to make it sound drunk, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So there's lots of different ways you would approach this song depending on what the goal is or what the effect is you want out of it. Paperwork doesn't change, right? There's the song, there you go. And I'm busy reading the words as I'm going along, even though everybody, you know, I have everything memorized. The other thing I think is important as a chord player is you should eventually be able to feel the chord changes coming. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? And you just feel, oh, there's a chord change there. I'm going to go to my next chord. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do? And so you can really feel those chord changes coming. I don't like to talk about playing by ear and playing by feel because it's very, very unreliable, but it is true that you can feel because you've grown up with music and it's in your brain and it's in your body and you've listened to a billion songs in your life, you kind of know how they work and you can feel those chord changes coming. And this song is pretty easy because you only have, it's either the chord you're on or the other chord, but even in songs that are more complex, you can definitely feel the chords changing as they go along. And so try to pay attention to that, okay, and use your ears a little bit. Now, let's go through and show why sometimes a song isn't that great as a tough song, okay? Let's play the melody of this, and you're going to find out there's nothing to this song. This is like a modern pop song. Here we go. From the top, just the melody line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 2, 1, oh, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, oh, oh, 3, oh, 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 2, 3, 5, 3, oh, 3, oh, 2, 2, oh, 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 2, 1, oh, 3, 3, 3, 3, oh, oh, 3, oh. Oh, 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 2, 3, 5, 3, oh, 3, oh, 2, 2. Okay, so there is some melody in there. There's a little bit of motion in there, but mostly it's a whole bunch of running along like this. And you'll find that with modern pop songs. That's why I don't end up teaching a ton of modern pop songs, is they tend to be written on guitars or they tend to be written on Macintoshes these days. And there's a whole lot of, let's hold this same note in the melody and then let's change the chord and go to a new melody note. And there's a lot of that goes on, and it makes it less interesting to play as a soloist on a musical instrument. It's just I don't know, it's a lot of plang, 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 plang. You'll notice when piano players write, they don't do that. Our tendency on a piano is to go to the next note. We've hit this note, we don't want to hit it again, we want to go to a different note. Whereas on guitar, ukulele, or some of these instruments that a lot of singer-songwriters use, they have a tendency, here's the chord, sing for a little while, change the chord, and sing for a little while. And so you find the melody tends to flatten just a little bit when you have that type of instrument, and that's what you're using for composing. Nevertheless, we still study it. Let's run through the tough uke real quick. Again, we know the melody is not super complicated, so we do want to make the chords really stand out, just like we did before. And what's also interesting, when you go to this level of sophistication, it becomes less of a drinking song and more of an actual, like, oh my gosh, this is a musical experience kind of thing, right? So do what you can. I'm going to just do thumb down because I think it makes the most sense, but if you are plucking, do that as well. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sounds nice, right? Right. Not drinking song nice, but it still sounds pretty nice. Okay, you combine all that stuff together, it ends up being kind of cool. Last thing on this piece of paper, how are we doing on time? We're doing fine. We've got plenty of time to talk about it. At the bottom, I gave you the other chord pairs you could try, and here's one of the sort of pop quiz type things. Do you know what all those chords look like, right? So do you know A minor and G? Do you know B minor and A? Do you know C minor and B flat? Oh, we're not going to do that one. Do you know D minor and C? We just did. Do you know E minor and D? Do you know F minor and E flat? That's a little bit of an advanced idea. Do you know G minor and F? Those chords also work on this song. Some of them work better than others. Okay, so that's all. So that's not all of the possible transpositions that you could do, but it's all of the sort of the ukulele main ones. Okay, so let's do. Let's go all the way to the bottom. G minor and F. Okay, so G minor. Index on 1, middle finger here, ring finger there. That's G minor. Okay, it's a beautiful chord on ukulele. And its friend for this song is an F. Now notice you're already holding the F shape, you're just on the wrong string. So up, up, you lose your ring finger. Okay, F, back to G minor. Okay, so go with me on this, and you're now not going to necessarily pay attention to the chord changes on here. You really are going to be listening. Okay, so we're going to be on G minor for a little while, then we're going to go to F, and then we're going to go back to G minor. Okay, from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. What shall we do with the drunken? Say F. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Lie in the morning. Hooray, and up she rises. Hooray, and up she rises. Hooray, and up she rises. Early in the morning. Okay, so that's now transposed from the D minor to the G minor. And then you think to yourself, was that better for my singing voice, worse for my singing voice? And with singers, a lot of times they know their low note, they know their high note, but they don't necessarily have a good sense of which keys their voice fits into in between those areas. And so sometimes, like something like that, I thought initially, oh, that sounds better with my voice. But then when I went to the F, it felt like it got a little low for my voice, you know? And so it's worth sometimes, if you're the singer, to try these different transpositions. The other thing is, if you're working with a singer, you're almost going to for sure need to try a few different keys on something like this until they can dial in what's going to make it easiest and most presentable for them to sing. I just noticed Jennifer had a question. If you keep it consistent, could you do 1/4 and 2/8 pattern, for example? Jennifer's point is exactly right. She's talking about, hey, if we're strumming, I'm teaching you 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Could you mix those up? Heck yeah. What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? Okay, that's when you start mixing up the 2s and the 4s, or the 4s and the 8s in this case. Heck yeah, give it a try. See what it goes through. That's when you start talking about strum patterns. If you're doing it by yourself, you do whatever you want. If you're going to talk a group of people into doing that, you probably need to think about the complexity of that. That just me thinking it through, I was able to do it. But if I got much more complex than that, then I'd have to start really focusing in on, okay, I got to get this strum pattern right because everybody I'm standing with is going to be doing the same strum pattern. That may or may not be energy you want your group to go into. I think if you're getting ready to present a song, I see this all the time on Christmas, at Christmas time. They're all going to sing Silent Night, right? And they all came up with a strum pattern, and so about 3/4 of them are doing exactly what they were taught. And then on the sides, there's always some people doing completely the wrong strum pattern, right, and kind of messing up the whole thing. So you have to be thoughtful about how much energy and time do I want to put into this group, into this particular strum pattern. The more capable your group members are, the more complicated the strum pattern you can make it. But yeah, a great question, Jennifer. A great thought is, hey, what if I did strum, strum, strum and strum and strum, strum, strum and strum and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and, or you can back it the other way, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. That might be a little more common way to do it. Try different ways to see which way makes the most sense for you. And again, being thoughtful about, what am I doing with this? Am I just teaching myself and trying to get better at this song? Or am I trying to get a group of people to do what I want them to do? Or am I in a group of people where they want me to do this thing and I got to practice their way of doing it? All those things are legitimate musical activities. And I always ask myself, is this worth my energy, right? I got a couple groups that I'm in that I'm questioning whether it's worth my time, right? Because of just whatever. Meanwhile, I have other groups that are like, oh, geez, we're doing this incredible stuff. It's hard, but it's worth the effort, And so I think it depends a little bit on what your ultimate plan is. And for lots of you guys, you're a soloist. You're sitting at home. You don't have any intention of leaving it anytime soon because of, it's weird out there. You want to try, hey, let's try all these different ways, find the best way to do Drunken Sailor and move on from there. And so there's that. Did anyone else lose the sound? Did anybody else lose the sound? I can hear you now. Minor to E flat seems to be a typical transition. Okay, so hopefully most of your sound is hanging in there, and then usually when I lose sound, I get a whole bunch of people at once. So hopefully you guys are holding on there. Renee says, hey, this F minor to E flat is a tough one. Yeah, right? And it is, because you got to take F minor, and then you got to move everybody to get to E flat, but it sounds cool. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning. Okay, it's tougher to play, but that's another thing that I think about is if I'm going to go out and present something on ukulele, I can go and do it in the easy chords, right? But if I pick F minor and E flat, nobody else is going to play it in F minor and E flat except me, right? And my people, right? So that's sometimes I think about that. Hey, if we're going to go, especially if we're going to go hang out with other ukulele players, I just want to be this much cooler than they are, right? Not that hard to do, but you always want to do something a little bit different. That's me. Now let's talk very quickly. What time is it? We got a few minutes. Page 2 of Drunken Sailor. When you go to a strum along, that's what they give you right up at the top, right? Drunken Sailor, and here's the chords, and here's the lyrics. What shall we do with the drum? If you don't know how the melody goes, you're doomed, right? You're hoping that somebody there in the group knows how to sing the song, and so then you do whatever they're doing. The other thing that they never tell you when you go to strum along, is this in 3? Is this in 4? Is this in 6? What is this? So again, if you don't know the song, you're sunk, so you have to rely on somebody in the group to tell you, hey, here's how the song goes. A lot of times when I go to strum alongs, if it's some song from Appalachia from 1920, and of course, it's not a song you would have run into in normal life. And so you're waiting on the hillbilly who turned that song in and say, oh, this song is about making rye whiskey in a bucket. And then you're like, okay, let's play that. And so they will sing, and your job is to back up with chords. Hopefully, when you go to the strum along, they do the song 2, 3, 4 times, so you get a chance by the last time to really knock it out. With Drunken Sailor, I think you should always end with the last verses. That's what we'll do with the drunken sailor. That's what we'll do with the drunken sailor. And so I put that last verse up separate from the additional verses. But notice you have 17 additional verses, and a lot of them, if you are into boats, some of this stuff actually means something, and it's not just random weird words they have together. But you can also obviously Google Drunken Sailor. There are hundreds of verses out there, and I tried to pick some that generally made sense with it to me as a singer. Shave his belly with a rusty razor, shave his belly with a rusty razor. That's kind of fun. My favorite one in here is put him in bed with the captain's daughter, put him in bed with the captain's daughter. And you're like, well, wait a minute. Why would he put us in bed with the captain's daughter? That seems like a reward, not a punishment. Well, it turns out the captain's daughter is that cat of nine tails that he used as a whip. And so that's the captain's daughter, and you don't want to be put in bed with that. Chuck him in bed, chuck him in the longboat until he's sober, and so on. Lots and lots of these. Like I didn't know what a bowline was. Heave him by the leg in a run and bowline. And once you find out the bowline is a thing in sailing, you're like, oh, now I understand what's going on there. So lots of just kind of fun ones. When I teach, I usually pick 2 or 3 that are my favorites, and then we always end with that's what we'll do with the Drunken Sailor. And obviously, if you're teaching kids, think about the implications. Make sure parents know you're going to do Drunken Sailor, and you're going to actually talk about the sailor being drunk and getting him punished and all sorts of hazing process from other pirates. And these days we think of pirates as democratic and blah 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 nice guy. No, they might have been democratic, but they were not nice guys, and there are female pirates as well. But they had a pirate thing down at our art museum a few years back, and I went to it, and it was sort of apologetic for pirates, and I'm like, you do know that they were mass murderers, right? That was not overly put through. Okay, so Drunken Sailor and what's the other one? All Through the Night. Hopefully they'll give you a couple of nice tunes to mess around with today. Tomorrow I will get Ash Grove together. I do apologize. With the plumber being here, I didn't have that done. Home on the Range and Buffalo Gals are for tomorrow. And then also tonight we're going to do much more with Strum Patterns. I'll probably go ahead and post this song up there. It looked like it was going to work out pretty well for different types of strum pattern. We'll do chunk strokes, down, chunk, and pull up. Chunk, chunk, chunk. That's a fun one. We'll talk about triplet stroke, which is index, thumb, index. Okay, so that's another thing that a lot of pros will use triplet strums. So we'll do that. We'll talk about how to overthink strumming and how to underthink it. I tend to underthink it. I'm like, it's up and down, whatever. But there are some tools you can use, even as an instrumentalist, to say, all right, I'm sick and tired of thumb down because Gary has everything thumb down. I'm going to start doing index down or whatever, And so there's stuff to think about in regard to that. Let's see, Kat. I have subscribed to Ukulele magazine for years. In fact, they're posting. Their posting is. Okay. Already a quarterly column for them. This sounds weird. I don't promote myself overly in the ukulele community because I think differently than the ukulele community. I think this is instrument, and that's good enough. I don't have any other interest in it, as I think so much differently than the mainstream ukulele world that I don't know necessarily if they want anything to do with me, and that's okay, right? I don't lose any sleep over that. I think what I'm doing here is actually what is going to be happening 10 years from now. But I think right now they're still very focused in on playing chords, and I don't know necessarily if Ukulele magazine wants anything to do with me. They know I exist, that's it. And so they came along and seemed much after I did, and I'm rooting them on. I want them to be successful. I do know they managed to get all around the world, and I do all that stuff. But a lot of that, that stuff you have to do, it's just not, I don't know, that's okay. I mean, and I do hope at some point they call up and say, Gary, what is it exactly that you're doing over there? Because it seems kind of interesting, and I hope that day will come. But I'm not going to initiate it. They got to come find me. Music teachers, here's the thing, and I do, this is me being a little bit egotistical, but music teachers need one thing. They need something that's easy to do, that they don't have to spend a ton of time on, that they don't not need to be an expert on, that they can take a piece of paper, put it in front of the students, get a ukulele in their hands, and then we all do that together. And then tomorrow we come and we do the same thing. And I know, because if I'm when I know what music teachers really have to do. They got the damn Christmas show to put on at the end of December, and their entire semester is consumed with the idea of, I got to get all these kids up in front of the entire school and I have them pull off a little Christmas show. If they had a way to do that where they could just sit down with this stuff and be doing just this every day, and then when Christmas comes around, they don't have to start in September now. They can start in November, and they say, all right, instead of playing Frere Jacques and Three Blind Mice and My Spaghetti Monster, we're now going to play Silent Night, First Noel, and whatever, and it's going to be the exact same thing. That's what music teachers want, and what music teachers really want is they want to be able to sing, because a lot of times that sort of just covers, singing is like caulk, right? It just covers up all your mistakes. You know, you have all the little kids sing, and parents take their iPad videos, it's great. But if they could get, and most music teachers would love to work in some instrumental stuff, but all of the other instruments are way, way, way too difficult to teach. You can't do recorder because you want to murder yourself, let alone the kids when they're doing it. So that's always been a bad way to teach music. There's pianos are too hard to get a hold of, guitars are way too hard to do, and all these other Orff instruments are fun, right? They make a bunch of clacking noises and stuff, but it's not really the music we're looking at. Ukulele solves all of those problems, and if you start them on day one with Frere Jacques, by the time you get to Christmas, you got something really fine, and you can do that with year after year after year after year as they grow up. And I'm writing the sheet music that I think any public school teacher could sit down and say yes. And the other nice thing is public schools have figured out in their, they have these standards you got to meet, that tablature counts as sheet music. And the higher ed has still got a little bit of problem with it, and we're working on them too. But in elementary and middle school and high school, tablature counts. And so, and it should, because it's just a different notation system. And so I do hope that somewhere down the road, ukuleles replace recorders, and a lot of kids who are in public schools just they're not getting enough music education because they've cut all the music teachers. It's really a frustrating situation. And so what ends up happening is the elitist kids, the kids with money, they end up in the band program, and then that leads on up, the ones that make it through, make it into universities. But the average kid is getting almost nothing in terms of music. Meanwhile, they're buying these off of Amazon and trying to teach themselves off of YouTube. Well, heck, man, why aren't we doing that instead of that? So anyway, that's I just jumped on my soapbox. I'm going to get off. You guys have a great night. I will see most of you tonight, and then I'll see a few of you. Let's see the rest of you back here tomorrow. And let me make sure I didn't miss any important comments. It's called an informant, right? Oh God, that in Bowline is. Oh yeah, right. We got all of our boat people in there. New teachers, melody, harmony, and rhythm. I play baritone, recorder, and love it. But uke is better just for education, right? When I'm not saying recorder is bad by any sense of imagination, I'm saying it's just not the same thing you're going to use for the Christmas concert, And so all this stuff, I do think harmony, rhythm, and melody, you got it on one thing, right? You got it on one thing, and it's cheap, $35 for a ukulele, right? You have one of your student aides keep the darn things tuned up. All right, Minette, I'll see you tonight. Have a great night. Sorry, I'm getting off my soapbox. I really am. Yeah, 30. It's affordable. 30, really. And I got access to wholesale ones too, right? So I can get schools great deals. Lynn. Yeah. Thank you, Lynn, for being here. I'll see you tonight, Renee. Jennifer, we are using both recorders and ukes. Kids are divided on which they like better. The kids are wrong. Uke is better. Teachers are using uke instead of recorder. Love it. Music for life is not. Yeah. Ukulele is the thing of the future. 10 years from now, I promise what I'm doing here will be old school, right? So, Drunken Sailor, easier for me to play. Oh yeah, which some of the patterns work better than others, huh, Phyllis? Yeah, absolutely. Have a great day, Phyllis. I'll see you tonight or tomorrow. Bruce, good to see you, buddy. Glad you guys are still floating around out there up in Spokane. Get those guys moved in. They're missing lessons. Pauline, I'll see you tonight, and enjoy your day out there in the Bay Area. Okay, even though we want to fight you. Let's see. Marie, glad you were here. Kate, have a great day. Clay, I'll see you tonight. Chris, see you tonight. Awesome. Diane, glad that computer is up and running. That's exciting. I'm glad you're high powered now. Lindy, I'll see you tonight. Glad you're finally showing back up. Bob, 93 Ukulele Magazine. Good, Bob. That's delightful. It's a great magazine. It really is. They've done so much great stuff. And I don't know if they want anything to do with me, but I do know I respect and admire a lot of the stuff that they've been able to put together. So yeah, I still think of them as the new kid on the block, even though they've been around for about 10 years. So yeah, keep reading it. It's a good magazine. I'll see you later, Jennifer. I did get your email, Jennifer, and I'm going to get you written back at some point. Lynn, I'll see you tonight, hopefully. Fran, see you tonight. Vicky, finally get back to work here, dude. Glad you're here. Yeah, just so you know what my wife says, well, if we're moving to Montana, we're moving to Bozeman. So we may end up neighbors, Vicky, if we ever move. I don't think I'm really going to move. I'm just fed up with Denver for right now. Jenna, I'll see you tonight. Good. Thank you, mate. Thank you for being here. Good. A lot of people finding us through Ukulele Magazine. So that's exciting. All right, you guys, have a wonderful day. And I will see most of you tonight. I'll see a few of you tomorrow. I'm going to hit end of stream and go see what they're doing in my bathroom with that plumber. Have a great night, you guys.